Hello, everyone. Good morning as well. I will just wait for one more minute, guys, 1 or 2 more minutes for others to dial in since it's day one session. I will wait for 30 more seconds, guys. Okay, let's get started, guys. And I can see that people are still coming in, but let them join. First of all, a warm welcome to OIC training by Unogeeks. It's a first session for your batch today, and I'll start with my introduction. This is Prasad. I have almost 20 years of experience in integration space, guys. And I've been using OIC for the past 11 to 12 years. In fact, I've been using it from day one Oracle released it. And I've done almost 10 to 12 Fusion Cloud implementation projects using OIC as a key integration tool. And whatever use cases I cover as part of the course, right? 15 integrations, 5 VBCS and 5 PCS applications. Those are the exact same use cases that I've built and delivered for actual end clients like HSBC or British Telecom. I have a pretty good experience as a trainer. I've done almost like 113 or 114 batches for OIC so far, including the regular and corporate trainings put together. 113 to be precise, and your batch is going to be 114th batch that I'm doing for OIC, and no kidding there. And I'm also a director of the company. I'll be driving OIC training myself, and I'll be delivering this program end to end. And this is what I have an agenda for today, guys. Before I proceed with the points on screen, I want to make a couple of announcements. First of all, when you join the training sessions, guys, you will be put on mute by default, and that is done only to avoid the background noise. Okay, so please don't think that you cannot speak up in the sessions if you have any questions. We are putting you on mute when you join a session only to avoid the background noise. Please note that while I'm explaining something, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. I'll call out your name. You can ask the question. And once your question is answered, you can go back on mute and you can lower your hand. And in fact, we would love it if you keep it interactive and if you ask questions. Having said that, day one, day two sessions, the first two demo sessions, guys, today and tomorrow session, to be frank, we try to cover a lot more content than what we usually do in a 1 hour training session or in a 1.5 hour training session. So it will be difficult to keep a day one and day two sessions interactive because these are kind of overview sessions wherein we will be giving you a high level overview of everything that we're going to do as part of the course. So it might be difficult to keep it interactive, keep them interactive. But from day three onwards, yes, during the session also, since it's a 1.5 hour batch, it's going to be a pretty long session, Monday to Saturday. So during the session also, I'll be taking pauses after every half an hour or 40 minutes. And I'll ask you if you have any questions, answer them, and then we proceed further with the session. That's the approach that we're going to follow. Now, yes, before we talk about, and also I'll be going at a moderate pace, guys. Do let me know if I'm going too fast or too slow. I'm open to adjust my pace as well. Now, before we talk about what exactly Oracle Integration Cloud is and what components we have within it, We'll spend some time and try to understand why do we need a product like OIC in first place. And we also focus on what are the integration challenges that we have to deal with as an integration specialist in 2026. Okay, because you see cloud everywhere now, right? And this was not the case until few years back. So until few years back, this was not the case. So you need to understand what are those new integration challenges that we have to deal with. Okay, so we'll spend 15 minutes roughly to talk about the first 2 points, 15 to 20 minutes. And once you understand why do we need a product like OIC, what are the challenges that we have to deal with as an integration specialist in 2026, then we move ahead and talk about what is OIC and what components we have in it. And in fact, we will take one live use case. We'll be taking up Salesforce to ERP Cloud Automation Service as an example. And we will see how easy it is to build integration in OIC. I'm going to spend roughly 30 minutes in OIC instance today to show you how easily you can build a real-time project use cases in there. Okay, so this is what I have an agenda for today. Now, let's talk about the why part first. Why do we need a product like OIC in first place? Now, if you look at the IT landscape of companies today, guys, or if you have probably looked at IT landscape of companies maybe 5 years back or 10 years back, all the applications that clients used to have, they were on-prem applications. Okay, whether it is eBusiness Suite, JD Edwards, or SAP, or PeopleSoft, all of them were on-prem applications. So what does it mean, guys? So I want to make it clear to everyone what exactly on-prem application is and what is cloud, because this is important from a very important to understand from an integration standpoint. So assume that we are doing implementation project for a client like Emerson, and it is a US-based manufacturing firm. We are not talking about some fictional firm here, guys. This is an actual firm that exists, and it is a US-based manufacturing firm. And assume that we are doing implementation project for that client. And 5 years ago or 10 years ago, if Emerson wanted to implement an Oracle ERP product, what is it that they would have done, guys? Oracle has a product called as Oracle eBusiness Suite or Oracle Applications. And this was an on-prem product that Oracle had. So if Emerson wanted to implement Oracle ERP 5 years ago, they would have probably implemented Oracle eBusiness Suite or Oracle Applications on-premise. So meaning, what is it that they would do? Emerson would spend a lot of capital upfront. To buy the required servers from Oracle, because for Oracle eBusiness Suite or Oracle applications, R2L applications to run, you need to have application server and a database server, right? So Emerson, as a client, they have to spend a lot of capital upfront. They need to go to Oracle and buy those required application database servers from them. And what Oracle would do after they receive a payment, they're going to ship those servers to the client. And after the servers are shipped to them, Emerson receives them on-premise. And after they receive those servers from Oracle, Emerson has to onboard an Oracle Apps DBA team. And this team would install Oracle eBusiness Suite application. This team would install Oracle eBusiness Suite application on the on-premise servers, guys. Okay. And please note that installation is done by Oracle Apps DBA team, and also maintenance of that EBS application or Oracle Apps is also a headache of Emerson. Now think of these points from an Emerson standpoint, guys. As a client, they are spending a lot of capital upfront, and not just spending a lot of capital upfront. Apart from spending a lot of capital, they also have to manage a team to install the application. And they also have to take care of maintenance of the application as well, guys. Isn't it ridiculous, guys? The client is spending so much amount up front, and apart from that, he should manage the teams and he should also manage the application. So he's spending money, he's spending his time, he's managing teams, he's managing applications, and client has to do all of this apart from focusing on their core manufacturing business. Ridiculous, isn't it? And that's exactly where cloud applications started coming into the market, guys. And nobody believed that cloud would be so big that it is today when Salesforce started a first cloud offering in 2007 or 8. It is a Salesforce a company, guys, which came up with a first cloud product. And it happened not today or yesterday, roughly 20 years back or 18 years back. They have come up with a first cloud product and everybody laughed at them. And nobody believed that cloud would be so big that it is today back then. But if you look at the IT landscape of companies today, guys, and this was the case even until 5 years ago or 10 years ago as well, all the applications of the client, if you look at their IT landscape, all the applications used to be on-premise applications until 5 to 10 years ago. But if you look at a scenario today, if any client wants to implement Oracle ERP from Oracle ERP product, you need to understand that Oracle ERP product is applicable. Okay, so this Oracle ERP product can be installed in cloud. Oracle ERP product can be installed in. So this Oracle ERP product that we have, Oracle is only offering it as a cloud application, not as an on-premise. Now, what exactly does it mean? If any client wants to implement Oracle Fusion ERP, they have to do it only in cloud, meaning Emerson would sign a contract with Oracle. And after they sign a contract with Oracle, Oracle would go to one of the data center closest to a client location. Assume that Emerson is based out of Chicago. Client location. And Oracle has data centers all around the globe. Okay, in plenty of countries, they have data centers and they have data center even in Hyderabad also. And what exactly a data center means, guys? It basically means that there are thousands of servers wired up with all the infra facilities in place. And it's just that after Emerson signs a contract with Oracle, Oracle would go to one of the data center closest to a client location, and they would install a Fusion application in that particular data center on one of the machines, and they would be sharing the URL with Emerson. And it is Oracle which is going to install the application on one of the servers in the data center of Oracle, and they would share the URL with Emerson. And what would Emerson do, guys? When they get that URL, they would be accessing that Fusion Cloud instance link. They would be accessing that Fusion Cloud instance URL. And along with that URL, Oracle would also be sharing one admin login credentials. And they would be logging into the application using the username and password that is shared. So after Oracle installs a Fusion application in cloud, they would share the URL with Emerson. They would access that URL. Emerson would access the URL and they would enter the username and password and sign into it. Now, what is it that we are trying to access, guys? We are trying to access the application, Oracle Fusion ERP application, which is running in cloud. Cloud doesn't mean the clouds in the sky, guys. It just means that this application is running on one of the machines installed in a data center of Oracle. And who is going to install this application, guys? Who is going to install this Fusion application in cloud? It's going to be done by Oracle team. And who is going to maintain it? Who is going to keep this application up and running 24/7? And every quarter, the application needs to be upgraded. And there has to be security backups taken, disaster recovery. All the maintenance of the application is taken care by Oracle. So how simplified it is now? First of all, clients need not spend a lot of capital upfront to buy the required servers. Instead, in this particular case, the applications are running on the servers of the vendor. So they don't need to buy the servers. The capital expenditure would be converted into operational expenditure. And they don't need to manage the teams to install the application. That is also done by Oracle team. And who is responsible for maintenance of application? That is again something that is taken care by a vendor in detail. Okay, so it would be Oracle team which would be responsible for installing the application, and it would be responsible for the maintenance of it as well. The point is everything has been would be taken care by Oracle for you in case of cloud applications. And also, we don't need to spend a lot of capital upfront as a client. Instead, this is client would be using this particular ERP application. It's called as software as a service. It's called as a SaaS product. So client would be using this Oracle Fusion Cloud application. They would be using the software as a service for a month. And at the month end, similar to how you pay your broadband bill or a phone bill, a client would be receiving a bill from Oracle saying that for using this application, this is a bill that you need to pay, depending on a lot of factors, depending on the users configured, modules being used, and so on. So at the month end, Emerson is going to pay a bill to them. So all these problems that we discussed earlier with on-prem are no longer applicable for cloud. In fact, the capital expenditure is also converted into operational expenditure. Emerson can focus on its core manufacturing business, letting Oracle worry about all the maintenance of the application that they need. And that's precisely why, and I'm just using Oracle Cloud as an example here, guys, Oracle ERP as an example. But the same is applicable for any cloud product that you see in the market. And that's why if you look at IT landscape of any of the companies today, guys, any client for that matter, doesn't matter whether it is Emerson or HSBC Bank or British Telecom, any client doesn't matter. All of them do have a hybrid IT landscape, meaning they have applications sitting on premise. And at the same time, they also have applications, they also have a lot of cloud applications in their IT landscape. A typical client like Emerson might be using Salesforce to manage their customers. And if there's anyone who is hearing Salesforce for the first time, it is the number one CRM product in the world today. And plenty of clients use it as a customer master to manage the customers. And your client, Emerson might be using ADP to run a payroll, again, a cloud solution. And Emerson might have implemented Oracle HCM Cloud, ERP Cloud, finance modules they might have implemented. And similarly, they might also still be having few on-prem applications as well. They might probably still be using manufacturing modules in e-business suite and so on. So if you look at the IT landscape of companies today, 100% of them, I repeat it, 100% of them do have hybrid IT landscape, wherein they might be using applications of Oracle Cloud. They might also be using a non-Oracle Cloud applications like Salesforce and ADP. And at the same time, they would also be having a lot of on-prem applications as well. Well, what does it mean to you and me? Prasad, what is the point that you're trying to make here by saying that they have hybrid IT landscape? So the point is, you need to know how to deal with three key integration challenges. As a developer or as an integration specialist, you need to know how to integrate one Oracle Cloud application with another Oracle Cloud application. Like you need to know how to integrate HCM with ERP or ERP with SCM and so on. That's challenge one. And you need to know how to integrate non-Oracle applications with Oracle applications. Like how do you integrate HCM Cloud with ADP or ERP Cloud with Salesforce? That's challenge two. How do you integrate Oracle Cloud with non-Oracle Cloud? And how do you integrate cloud applications with on-prem applications? That's challenge number three that you have to deal with. It can be non-Oracle Cloud or it can be Oracle Cloud, doesn't matter. How do you integrate cloud applications with on-prem? Now, these are the three key integration challenges that we have to deal with. And those are the challenges that were listed down here. Building integrations legacy style is too complex, and there's no easy way to move the data from cloud to on-premise and vice versa in other products. And there was also no way to do a process automation and call it from integration. This is also not available. Analytics you can ignore. But the good news is, whatever three challenges that I just spoke about, you can easily achieve them. You can easily overcome them by using Oracle Integration Cloud. Now, I hate PPTs, guys. Yes, once you enroll in a course, we would be giving you access to. So I hope you're able to see my screen. And what you're looking at is an integrations folder. So once you enroll in a course, we'll give you access to these 50 plus files related to integrations. We would also be giving you access to VBS, VBCS, and a PCS material as well, the Redwood and all that. And these PPTs are for your reference purpose. And for the next 2 months, when I do the training sessions, I won't be using a PPT for more than 3 to 5 minutes in any particular session. I use it, in fact, only to set the context for that particular day. And 99% of the time that I'm going to spend in the training sessions, I would be doing a hands-on exercises. I would be showing you how to build either an integration or a VBCS or PCS applications. Now, what we do now is, I want all of you to understand how easy it is to build integration in OIC. Yes, I don't want to build the integration on day one, but I want all of you to realize on day one itself how easy it is to build integrations in OIC using something called as a configuration-based approach. And I'll spend next 30 minutes in OIC instance explaining exactly the same. So what's the use case that we're considering here, guys? The use case that we're considering here is that assume Emerson is using Salesforce as their main CRM system, meaning whenever they get a new customer, what would Emerson do, guys? Emerson would be logging into a Salesforce. Whenever they get a new customer, they log into a Salesforce application, and this is their customer master. And after they log into Salesforce application, it's prompting me to reset my password. Give me one moment, guys. I'll reset my password and I'll share my screen back in a moment. Okay, I've reset my password. I would be sharing that password at a later point with you guys. Now I go back and yes, I've logged into a Salesforce application. I'm not sure if you have heard my announcement, Margita. Day one and day two, I won't be able to take questions during the session. If you have any question in mind, jot it down on a piece of paper. Wait for me to open it up for Q&A. I will do it in roughly 15-20 minutes, and I'll make sure that I answer all the questions. Only then I'll stop the session. Okay? Only for day one and day two. From day three, we'll keep it interactive.
Yeah, understood. But I have a little doubt here. As you were talking about on-premise thing, so to have SOA for EBS integrations, right? So what major role plays OIC here? So here you could go for SOA, right? So that is my doubt here.
Nobody uses SOA for implementation, for building integrations related to Fusion Cloud.
Okay,
let me repeat that statement one more time. If there are 100 clients who implement Oracle Fusion Cloud, how many of those clients use SOA to build integrations required for Fusion Cloud? 0. Okay. So building integrations in SOA required for EBS or other Oracle products is a thing of past. It is a gone case. And if there are 100 clients who implement Fusion Cloud, all 100 clients use OIC to build the required integrations for it. And there are plenty of reasons for it. And yes, OIC offers plenty of advanced capabilities, and it's very easy to build integrations in OIC or VBCS or Redwood applications. A lot of things that you could not even think of in SOA. And the best part is you can do it with a fraction of effort that you would have probably put in as a SOA developer there. Okay, so we'll talk more about it at the end. So I'm in a Salesforce application here. And assume that Emerson is using Salesforce as their main CRM system. And what is it that they're going to do? Whenever they get a new customer, they log into Salesforce and they would go into Sales Console. And when they go into Sales Console, they would usually be seeing a home page initially. And after that, they would go into accounts. And from here, they will be creating a new customer account. So let's assume that Emerson has got a new customer with a name as John Doe. And yes, as soon as Emerson gets a new customer, what do? They would go ahead and create the customer in Salesforce application by coming into a new account screen. And after they enter the details here, the customer account, customer details here, we would also be able to, they would also be entering the address details as well, and so on. Okay. So let's say that client is based out of Chicago. So we would enter the address details and you would say, this is what we would be doing in Salesforce. So whenever Emerson gets a new customer, this is what they do. They create a new customer in Salesforce and they would hit save and close. Now the point is, this customer that Emerson has got might have probably bought something from Emerson. They might have probably, see, Emerson is a manufacturing firm, right? So they might have probably bought some goods or services from it. And what is it that Emerson wants to do after you create a user in Salesforce? Emerson might want to invoice the customer for the goods or services that they have bought. And assume that Emerson is using Oracle ERP Cloud to manage the finance processes. Assume that they have implemented finance modules here. Now they would log into Oracle Fusion Cloud application, and to create a customer invoice or receivable invoice, they go in here, they go to receivables, and they will try to create an AR invoice from here. Okay, they'll try to create an AR invoice from here. Now, the point is, when you create a customer invoice or AR invoice in Fusion Cloud, we need to choose a customer. Without a customer, you cannot create an invoice. Can we do it, guys? Can we create an invoice without a customer? You see that it is asterisk, right? Asterisk means it is mandatory. So a customer is very much required for an invoice. But the key point here is, whatever is a customer that you're creating in Salesforce and you hit save and close, they want to create an invoice against that same customer in ERP Cloud. Okay, so whatever customer has been entered and saved in Salesforce, against that particular customer, they want to create an AR invoice. But tell me one thing, guys, what would be the expectation from a client? A client would say that, Prasad, I enter the customer details in Salesforce, I hit the save button. And the moment I hit the save button, I want that customer to show up in the customer LOV, in the customer list here on the create invoice screen, so that I can invoice the customer immediately. That's a simple use case. So what is it that they're saying? They are saying that we need to, as and when it's a Salesforce to ERP integration, whenever a customer is created in Salesforce, the same customer should be created in ERP Cloud. And two important considerations: there should be no time gap and there should be no manual intervention. So if you go to them and say, if you go to a client and say that, yes, you will see the customer here, John Doe, in the customer list, but you will see it after half an hour. So if you create a customer in Salesforce today at 9:30, you will start seeing the customer here from 10 o'clock. Do you think client would be okay with it? They would say, sorry, Prasad, it doesn't work, because if you give a time gap, our users might forget to create invoice and it would be a direct loss of revenue for us. So we cannot, we don't want that behavior. We don't want that behavior. And we cannot, what is it that we need to do? We cannot afford to wait for a customer to show up here, because we might miss invoicing a customer. We might miss invoicing a customer. So there should be no time gap. And another important thing is there's no manual intervention. So your client says, Prasad, I'm not sure. I don't really care what you do. I would just be entering the customer details and I hit the save button. And I'm not going to do any other manual intervention. But as soon as I hit the save button, I want the customer to show up here immediately, ASAP, and without any manual intervention. Very simple use case. Let's see how to achieve this particular use case with a OIC. Can we achieve this use case, guys, first of all, with OIC? Not just this use case, you can achieve any complex use case using OIC. This is in fact, pretty simple use case that you can achieve. Now, I would be logging into OIC instance from here. And yes, as part of the course, guys, we would be giving you access to OIC, Fusion Cloud, Salesforce, SFTP server, and a database in cloud. So we'll give you access to all the infra that you need to practice the use cases we do. So I'm logging into OIC instance here. And what you're looking at on screen, it is an Oracle Integration Cloud, a Gen 3 instance. Gen 3 is the latest version available in the market today. And that is exactly what we use in the training sessions. And I logged in as Prasad here. And when you click on the menu option here, you would be able to see that there are three key cloud services we have in OIC, guys. What does OIC stands for? Oracle Integration Cloud. And as you can make out from the name, yes, you can build a wide variety of integrations using OIC. You can build a wide variety of integrations using OIC. And in fact, you can build integrations in one system to talk to any other system under the sun. Doesn't matter whether it is cloud or whether it is on-premise. Doesn't matter whether it is Oracle, non-Oracle. Any application can be integrated with any other application. And please understand that OIC can be used to build integrations, a wide variety of them, but it doesn't just stop there. What makes OIC a killer product in the market today is, yes, apart from building integrations, you can build custom web applications in VBCS, and you can build ultra-rich, neat-looking user interfaces for custom application requirements that your client has. If your client has a requirement to build a custom HR web app, or invoice application, or custom travel request application, expense report application, you can build all such custom applications using VBCS. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to give you a walkthrough of the integration use cases we cover, VBCS and PCS applications we're going to do as part of the course, so that you exactly understand what you're getting into. So yes, you can build a wide variety of integrations in OIC, and you can also build custom web applications using VBCS, using the latest Redwood templates. And that is a key here. Nobody covers Redwood templates in OIC in the market today to the extent that we do. In fact, we're going to spend almost 3 to 4 weeks only on the VBCS Redwood itself. And there's like crazy demand in the market for OIC developers who can build complex Redwood applications. Companies are willing to pay any premium to hire you in case you know both integrations and VBCS Redwood. You can validate it using a simple Google search after the session. And after you build those custom applications in VBCS, so we're going to do 15 integrations, and we would build 5 VBCS applications using latest Redwood templates. And when a user logs into that VBCS application, create a request and submit it. Could be a travel, could be expense report, or it could be anything. Then those requests should go through approval. And that's exactly where the process automation would come into picture. This is where you can build a complex process automation flows, multi-layer approval flows using conditional rules and so on. So OIC is not only meant to build integrations. Yes, you can build complex integrations. We'll build 15 of them. And we would also be building 5 VBCS and 5 PCS applications as well. And by the time, and also one key thing is, we will be building one end-to-end solution linking all the 3 cloud services together. So we'll build a complex web app in VBCS. We'll see how to kick off a multi-layer approval process from it. After approvals are obtained, we'll see how to call a REST API and send the data to Fusion Cloud. So by the time you complete the course, you not only master 3 individual cloud services, integrations, VBCS and PCS, but you will also know how to use them together to build custom complex end-to-end flows, guys. In fact, I'll give you a walkthrough of that solution also tomorrow. Now, going back to the use case, we have to integrate Salesforce with ERP Cloud. As soon as a customer is created in Salesforce, we need to create it in ERP. That's a simple use case that we have. Now, when you go to integrations, the first thing that you do is, even before you create a required integration in OIC, you should be establishing a connectivity from OIC. You should be establishing connectivity from OIC with a source and the target applications, guys. In this case, Salesforce is source, ERP Cloud is target. So I need to establish connectivity from OIC with Salesforce and ERP. How do we do that, guys? That's exactly where connections come into picture. With the help of connections, you can integrate OIC with a source application as well as a target. And how do you establish connectivity, guys? Go to connections, create a new connection in OIC. And when you create a new connection, you see that there are plenty of adapters available here. You see that there are plenty of adapters available here. And you see hundreds of them. And any system that you talk about, you should be able to find an adapter here. So for example, if you search for SAP, you have an adapter. If you search for Salesforce, you have an adapter. If you search for Oracle, you see plenty of adapters related to Oracle cloud ecosystem. Okay, now to answer your question, Geeta, why exactly our clients are using our OIC to build integrations related to Oracle cloud products? For a simple reason that Oracle has given plenty of products, almost 50 adapters, and it makes it very easy for them. So when you see an adapter here, that means you can easily establish connectivity with that cloud application. And once it is done, I can use that connection in the integration flow, and I can quite easily talk to those Oracle cloud applications. And that's precisely why this is just one of the reasons, but you have plenty of Oracle adapters, especially the ones related to cloud available in OIC, which are not there in any other product, integration product as such. Now, when you have to, before you create any integration, you need to create the connections. So you pick up that particular adapter. So for example, I search for Salesforce here, pick that one up. And this is an adapter that I should be using to create a connection with a Salesforce application. That is a source application, and that's the first connection that you should create. And I would create a connection with a name as UG114. And you guessed it right. Yours is the 114th batch that I'm doing for OIC. And 113th batch has started 3 weeks ago. And yours is 114th batch. And any component that I'm going to create for your batch, we would be prefixing UG114 in every component, whether it is a connection, integration, VBCS, PCS, anything that I build for your batch, I'm going to prefix it with UG114. So you give it a name, and I'm going to call it as Salesforce connection. And when you guys practice the components that we do in the course, guys, so most of you have already enrolled in a course and made a fee payment as well. And we did send out onboarding emails as well. So later today, when you want to do some hands-on, when you create a connection, please don't use UG114 anywhere in the component names, guys. Instead, you should be using your initials. Okay, you should be using your initials. Say, for example, if Aditi Joshi is practicing, you should be using AJ, Aditi Joshi. And if that identifier has already been used up, if you see some integrations here already with that prefix, then you can go ahead and probably use another letter from your first name or a last name as well. But please don't use either UG, or please don't use 114 name anywhere in your components. It would only add to the confusion at a later point. Because once we reach a midway, or as we progress in the course, sometimes when you get stuck, you might want to see what are the components that Prasad has created in a session. At that time, when you search for UG114, if you see 10 connections created by different students, you wouldn't know what is created by Prasad. So to avoid confusion, I request everybody to avoid using UG114. You should be using your initials, and I'll be using UG114. And as you type in name, identifier will be generated automatically. And there is a pattern that you see here. Everything is converted to caps and spaces are replaced with underscore here. Spaces are replaced with underscore. That's a pattern. And there is a role that you have to select when you create a connection. And please understand, guys, I need at least 30 minutes to talk about the significance of this role. It is a very, very important selection that you make on a connection that you're creating. Very, very important selection that you make. And when we build our first integration in OIC, we would be talking about this role in detail for almost 30 minutes. But for now, just leave the role as trigger and invoke as is, and you hit the create button. So this is exactly how you create a Salesforce connection. And in the next screen, what is it that you would be entering, guys? You would be entering the Salesforce connection details like Salesforce username, password, and so on. In the next screen, entering a Salesforce username and password will not be sufficient, guys. You also have to enter something called as a token, Salesforce token, and it gets a little complicated. So just assume that we have hit the create button and we have created the connection as well. Assume that it is done. In fact, when exactly would we see the connection creation? This use case that we are talking about, guys, we would be covering this exact same use case as integration number 13, later on in the course. We would be picking up the exact same use case and we would be building that integration end to end, starting from scratch later on in one of the future sessions. All I'm going to do today is show you how exactly we would be building that integration and how exactly would it look like. And when we do this actual use case, we will be creating a Salesforce connection. But assume that it is done. That's the first connection that we need. And what's the second connection that we need, guys? The second connection that we need, the first is with Salesforce, second is with Oracle Cloud. So I'm going to search for Oracle ERP Cloud. This is a target system which I need to interact with. And I need to give it a name. The same story repeats. I enter ERP connection. As I enter, name identifier is generated, role is triggered and invoked by default, leave it that way. And you hit the create button. The moment you hit the create button, if it is an ERP connection, so depending on the adapter that you pick up when you create a connection, the properties would change. So since it is ERP connection, it is asking me to enter the ERP URL and the username and password. And if you probably create a DB connection or FTP connection, it would ask you to enter the database details or FTP server details here. And what's the ERP URL that we have to use, guys? So this is our Fusion Cloud instance link. And I should be entering the username and password. And for the obvious reasons, I don't want to expose the password to everybody in a session because there are around 5 or 10 participants who are yet to make a fee payment. I've copied the password and I'm going to enter that password here and I'll hit the test button. I'm creating an ERP connection and I'm entering the ERP URL. I've entered the username and password. What is OIC trying to do now? It is trying to log into this Fusion Cloud instance with this username and password. It's going to give you a confirmation when I hit the test button. So once the testing is successful, you should see this 8% becoming 100, which means the connection is tested successfully. And you can go ahead and use this particular connection going forward in the integrations to talk to a Fusion Cloud. What do I mean by talk to Fusion Cloud? I can use this connection to do anything I want in a Fusion application. I can use this connection to create an invoice, load the journals, create an AP invoice, or create a purchase orders. And I can also extract the data from Fusion Cloud and send it to other systems as well using the REST APIs or SOAP services. So with the help of this ERP connection, I can talk to Fusion Cloud and I can do whatever I want with this connection in the integration. Okay, so this way creating the connections is a first step. Create a Salesforce connection and ERP connection. And after that, you would be building an integration in OIC, which is going to look something like this. And I'm going to search for the integration I created for a previous batch here. Okay, so I'm going to search for Salesforce to ERP service. I'm going to share my screen back in a moment. Okay, so this is an integration that we're going to create as part of the course Salesforce to ERP service, and that's exactly what we will be doing as integration number 13. And I'm trying to open up the integration I created for one of the old batch here. Now, as I search for UG58, at least a few of you might be, who are smart here, might be thinking about it. Prasad, you just said you're doing 114th batch, but why are you searching for UG58 batch here? Now, the reason is in OIC Gen 3, in OIC Gen 3, we have got the concept of projects, guys, which is a new feature in OIC Gen 3 that we have got. And in OIC Gen 3, this is a new feature that we have got, projects. And before that, we didn't have this concept at all. So until the first 58 batches were done in the design screen, because we didn't have the concepts of projects back then. But from the 59th batch, we have got this projects as a new feature in OIC Gen 3. Now, what exactly this project is all about? How does it help you to do access control? Tomorrow, by this time, you know the answer. I'll talk about it in detail. And for all the other batches that I've done from until UG 58, you will find them here. And after UG 58, you will be able to find the projects here. So for example, if I search for UG 11, what do we see, guys? You see the projects that I've done that are ongoing at the moment, UG 110, 111, 112, 110, and so. So all the other batches from 58 has been done in the projects. But since I'm using a design screen, because I don't want to introduce you to the projects on day one and confuse you, tomorrow we'll talk about this. That's why I'm searching for one of the old integration I created for a previous batch here. So this is an integration that we build, and this is exactly how this would be the service that we're going to create when we do this use case. Now, first of all, whenever you have to build an integration, guys, and you see that I've got this. Okay, let me just unlock it. And if anybody is logged into OIC instance, guys, don't open this integration as I explain it. Okay. So when I got this particular use case, guys, when I got this use case, I was completely new to Salesforce. To be frank, I don't even know ABC of it, guys, when I did this use case a year back. And I have a fair understanding of Fusion Cloud, but completely new to Salesforce. Point number one, for you to get a job as an OIC developer, you need to know how to build integrations in OIC, and you should not be a master of a source and the target applications. Please understand, guys, every application has its own technical and the functional teams. Salesforce has its own technical team and a functional team. A Fusion Cloud also has its own technical team and functional team. So please understand that as a OIC developer, your job is not to master the Salesforce application or ERP application. And your job is not to replace any of them, Okay, so there are different teams paid for doing different tasks. Your job as an OIC developer is not to master the Salesforce or ERP. Instead, you need to talk to the relevant teams, get the required information, and build the integration in OIC. Because today you might be dealing with Salesforce to ERP. And if you spend 2 months to learn Salesforce, 2 months to learn ERP, after 4 months, you get a new use case wherein you have to integrate SAP with Workday. Then will you spend 4 months again to learn SAP and Workday? Not really. So for an integration specialist, the source and target systems are like just another application for you and me. We don't need to master them. Somebody else is paid for it. It's just that we need to talk to those relevant teams, get the information, and build the exact use case, guys. Now, there is a good reason why I'm stressing on this point very much here, because when I start giving you more details about what you do in Salesforce and ERP Cloud, some students come to a conclusion saying that, boss, I don't know what's going on. I don't think I'll be able to do this course because you are explaining a lot of things in Salesforce and ERP here. Do understand that you don't need to know them. There will be teams available in the project to talk to, get those details. And since we don't have those teams, I'll be just playing that role, giving you all the relevant details. Okay. As an OIC developer, your job is only to build integrations. Your job is not to master source or the target applications. Please bear that in mind. Very simple. Now, when I got this use case, what did I do? I went to a Salesforce technical team. And I've set up a 1 hour meeting with them. And I asked them, is there a way that we can do some process automation when we hit the save button? Okay. So what is it that we need to do? So Salesforce technical team, what they did is, yes, Prasad, there is a, and what I'm going to show you in the Salesforce application for the next 10-15 minutes. It was all those setups were done by Salesforce technical team. In fact, I was not even given access to Salesforce. They did the setups and they have asked me, they have told me what I have to do. So what they did is, when I asked them, is there a way that we can do some process automation? They said yes. And I explained them the use case that after they enter the customer details, they hit the save button. And what they did is, they logged into the application. And they have created a process automation flow. They have created a process automation flow. And in the process automation flow, you can go ahead and when you define a flow, guys, you see, these are the flows I've created those for those batches, for those 100 batches that I was talking about earlier. So you would be creating a process flow, process automation flow, and you would be, the technical team has defined it, and they have defined it in such a way that the flow gets triggered whenever a customer account is created. So as soon as you enter the customer details, hit the save button, this flow gets triggered. Because in the flow, triggering point is account created or updated, meaning whenever an account is created or updated, the flow gets triggered. And from the flow, I ask them what are the actions that we can perform, meaning as soon as you create a customer, the flow gets triggered. And from the flow, what are the actions that we can do? Client has shown me these actions that we can send out an email if we want. We can update a field in Salesforce, or we can send an outbound message. Now, this outbound message is something that interests me. So to send an outbound message, this is when you select this outbound message option, what's the benefit that you get here, guys? In an outbound message, you can mention what integration endpoint URL you want to call. So what Salesforce technical team has done is they have created an outbound message, and they have asked me to build an integration in OIC, give them the URL, and they're going to plug in that integration endpoint URL here. And this outbound message is used in the flow here. So what will be the sequence of steps, guys? As soon as you hit the save button, the flow gets triggered, and from the flow, outbound message gets triggered. And in the outbound message, they're going to mention the OIC integration URL here. Whatever integration you build, they will be calling it from here. And whatever are the customer fields that you enter here, all these fields, all those customer fields will be passed as input to it. And these setups were done by Salesforce technical team. And what they told me is, Prasad, your job is simple. You build an integration and give me the URL to us. We'll call it from here. And to your integration, we pass in customer details as input. And in your integration, you take care of a logic. You plug in logic to create a customer in ERP. So as a developer, I came into OIC instance, I created an integration. And when you create an integration, there is a style that you have to choose from. And there are 3 styles for you to decide, guys. I'll be talking about these 3 styles for almost 20-30 minutes in tomorrow's session in detail. But if you have to build an integration which should be triggered from another application on demand, you would be creating application style integration. So in this case, whatever integration that we are building here, where is it going to be called from, guys? Where is this integration going to be called from? It's going to be called from a Salesforce application. So as and when a Salesforce is created, the flow is triggered, and from the flow, outbound message is called, and Salesforce application is going to trigger my integration on demand. On demand, they're going to trigger it, and they would be passing in the customer details as input. So that's why application style has been used to create an integration, because when you create an integration using application style, the moment you activate it, there would be a URL generated, and that URL is what you enter here. Now, when I create this integration, guys, you see here, even before you open the integration, you see a brief picture that tells you what connections are used and so on. You get into the integration, it's called as Salesforce to ERP service. Now, the moment you get into an integration, what's the first thing that we see, guys? At the moment, you see those connections and the mappers, right? But when you create a new connection, so the new integration, you will not be seeing any of the nodes here. Instead, you will see a blank screen and you see a plus icon popping up. And you just have to click on a plus icon and you will see those connections that you can invoke. Now, any integration you build, guys, the first thing that you do, any integration you build, the first connection that you configure is called as a trigger. And any other connection that you call within the integration is called as an invoke. We'll worry about it at a later point. In this case, what should I do, guys? In this particular use case, the first thing that I should do is I need to configure the Salesforce connection. You should have created a Salesforce connection already. That Salesforce connection is what you will be entering as a trigger here. That Salesforce connection is what you will be entering as a trigger. Because Salesforce application is going to trigger your integration and Salesforce would pass in all the customer details as input. I call my integration, pass in customer details as input. I receive it by using a Salesforce connection as a trigger. And after you receive the customer details as input into the integration, at this point, what do I need to do, guys? The second half of the story begins here. Now, as soon as the customer is created here, saved, we see the flow getting triggered, and from the flow, from the flow, outbound message is called, my integration is called, customer details is passed as input. But with those customer details, what do I need to do, guys? I need to go to ERP and I need to create a customer here. At this point, what do? I go to a Fusion technical team and I set up a couple of hours team meeting with them and I tell them, boss, I'm going to get customer details as input from Salesforce. And I need to create a customer in ERP Cloud. With those details, I should be creating a customer in ERP Cloud. And I ask them, what is it that I need to do? Now, at this point, a client will, in the Fusion technical team will give you a design for creating a customer in ERP. And what they might tell you is, Prasad, customer is a complex data object. It is a master data, basically. See, if it is an invoice details or a PO details that you're getting as input, right? You just call one service and that will create a PO and that will create an invoice or a PO in ERP Cloud. But we need to create a customer. Customer is a master data. And to create a customer in ERP Cloud, yes, there is a customer service that you need to call that will create a customer account and an account site. But before you create a customer account and an account site, we need to register a customer as a party and a party site by calling the organization service. And for party site to be created, we need to have a location. So this story will be told to you by a Fusion technical consultant that not one service you have to call for customer account. Before customer account, you need to create a party site, and for party site, we need location. So 3 services you need to call in your integration: location, organization, and customer account. Now, just in case anybody is wondering, Prasad, what's going on? I thought I dialed into a day 1 demo session of OIC, and I was expecting you to talk about a few high-level points about OIC and leave me there. But you're talking about a core integration scenario. My intention in picking up this particular use case and explaining it, guys, is not to scare you or not to confuse you. The only reason why I'm doing this here is to help you understand how easily we can build integrations in OIC, and you will understand it in the next 5 minutes. So this design, again, it is not something that you need to know. It would be told to you by a technical consultant. And technical consultant told me that we need to create a location, or we need to create a party site and a customer account. So to do that, what do? You click on a plus icon and you use that ERP connection to register a location. Meaning whatever is the address that is entered. So when you create a customer, you enter an address details, right? So whatever is the address details that is entered here, with those address details, you need to register a location in ERP. So I'm using Oracle ERP connection here. And which connection am I using, guys? I'm using that UG114 connection. UG114 connection is what I'm using here. This is the one that we just created, right? So I'm using that connection and I say I want to create a location in ERP with the address received from Salesforce. And you go to the next screen, using ERP, I say I want to do a CRUD operations in ERP Cloud. and I would choose a SOAP services here. Remember guys, Oracle would have given a lot of standard SOAP services and REST APIs to talk to Fusion application. And please understand guys, you don't need to know what is a SOAP service or what are the REST APIs before you join the course. Some of you might have worked in the integrations area in the past, but that is absolutely not a requirement. So after day 1 and day 2, after tomorrow's session, day 3 and day 4, basically, we would be covering a web service basics as part of the course itself. Day 3, we will be focusing on SOAP service basics, and you will understand A to Z about SOAP services in that session. And day 4, we will be talking about REST API basics. So if I'm using some complex terms, or if I use some integration terms that you are not very clear on, don't panic or don't worry. After we do day 3 and day 4 sessions, all those integration terms that I use becomes quite clear. Now, if you are we'll be back in the screen. So I just select services. So Oracle has given a lot of standard SOAP services and REST APIs to talk to Fusion Cloud. You have SOAP services and REST APIs to load the data and to extract the data also. Now I need to create a location here. So I choose that location service. Now, when I search for the location service, similar to how you have procedures within a package, do we have procedures in a package, guys? Right? PL SQL package, you have procedures, right? In an exactly similar fashion, whenever, yes, in a SOAP service, you have operations. And I'm choosing that location service and I'm saying create a location. So what is it that I'm asking OIC to do, guys? I'm asking OIC to go to ERP Cloud. I'm asking it to go to ERP Cloud, and I'm asking it to create a location. Now tell me one thing, guys, in which application will it create a location, guys? In which Fusion Cloud instance will it create a location? Where did we mention the details, guys? We created a connection, right? So this is a connection that we are using here, Oracle ERP connection. And when I created that connection, in the connection, I entered the ERP URL, I entered the username and the password as well. So when I use that connection, when I use this ERP connection, and I try to create a location here, I'm asking OIC to log into this instance with this username and password and create a location there. Now, what would OIC do, guys? The moment I hit the finish button, OIC would say, okay, Prasad, I will definitely create a location. But tell me with what address details you want a location to be created. So the moment you say create location using ERP connection, it would create a mapper. It would create a mapper component automatically. And you see a dotted line because mappings are not done yet. And when you get into the mapper, what do we see on the target side, guys? On the target side, since I'm asking it to create a location, it will say, Prasad, I'll create a location, but tell me with what address details I need to create it. Are we getting the address details from Salesforce, guys? Yes, Salesforce is triggering our integration, right? We receive all the customer details as input. What should I do? On the source side, I will be able to see the address details received from Salesforce. And all I have to do is you see the address details. And I just have to map those address details from a source to the target. So this is address I received from Salesforce, and this is the address with which location would be created in ERP. And how do you do the mapping, guys? Remember, the attribute names in the source and the target systems might be different. They need not be same. And how do you map it? One simple thing that you can do is you can drag and drop the source attribute onto the target like this and do the mappings. And similarly, yes, this is one basic thing that you can do. You can go ahead and drag and drop the components and you can build the integrations. But please note that in this mapper screen, apart from just dragging and dropping the components and doing the required mappings, there is a lot of complex stuff that you can do. You can write complex XSL functions. You can look at the code that is generated, XSLT code. You can make whatever changes you want as well here. So how exactly we do all of that, we cover it as we progress in the course and as we build complex integrations, you will understand that. But this is how simple it is to build integration in OIC, guys. Okay, so all you have to do is, yes, you need to pick up the attribute from a source, and you just have to map it to the target. So for example, if I have to map the street to address one, do the mapping, validate the mappings, see if there are any errors. Otherwise, you go back and you go ahead and save it. So this is how simple it is to build integration in OIC. Understand what are the systems that you need to talk to, create those required connections, Salesforce connection and ERP connection. And after the connections are created, you would go ahead and build an integration. And in the integration, what do we do, guys? You would use that source connection here, Salesforce connection as a source, as a trigger to receive the customer details. And after that, you will be calling ERP connection. With those details, I want to go there, create a location, and I'm doing a handshake here. Whatever address details we received, I passed it. And then what do? I just repeat this step two more times to create a party as well as a customer account. So you see here, guys, I'm just calling ERP connection thrice to call different services. And with what details the customer account needs to be created, or party needs to be created, or location needs to be created, you handle it in the map form. So that's how easy it is to build integrations in OIC. The only thing that might sound complicated is, and this is exactly what we should be responsible for, or what we would be responsible for. So understanding what are the setups that we need to do in Salesforce, or understanding or we're trying to figure out what we need to do to create a location or to create a customer in ERP cloud is none of our business. There are other teams who are paid for it, and there would be you just have to talk to those teams, Salesforce technical team, Fusion technical team, get the required information, and you will have to plug in that logic in the integration build. Now this process that I'm talking about, like creating the connections and create an integration, and you see a plus icon popping up, you just have to click on a plus icon and mention what connection you want to call or what actions you want to perform. Do you want to use a wait action, or do you want to send an email? What actions do you want to perform is completely dependent. It is a drag and drop approach, guys. All you have to do is you need to pick up what you want to do, and you just need to configure it. And that's exactly what we mean by configuration based approach, guys. There's zero coding involved. OIC follows a configuration based approach. Create the connections, use them, do the required mappings. And if you want to perform any other massaging or any other actions, you can just click on a plus icon and you can do any of the other actions as well that you have. So OIC, you can build integrations using configuration-based approach, zero code, easy to integrate applications with cloud and on-premise. Please note, guys, in OIC design screen, you see that there is a connectivity agent concept. With the help of this connectivity agent, you can talk to on-prem as well as a cloud applications. Yes, for a cloud application, agent is not required, but if you have to talk to on-prem, you need a connectivity agent. And in one of the integration that we do as part of the course, integration 12, we will be covering connectivity agent end to end. And there is also an option to build a process automations, and you can call it from integration as well as VBCS. And in fact, we will be giving you, I'll give you a walkthrough of that end-to-end solution tomorrow that we do as part of the course. Analytics is fine. Well, that brings us to what exactly OIC is, guys. Oracle Integration Cloud. And it is a PaaS product from Oracle. It is a platform as a service product from Oracle. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, no client can go live with Fusion Cloud without using OIC as a platform to build the required integrations, VBCS and PCS applications, guys. I'll come to you first in 10 minutes from now. You can use that particular integration. OIC is a PaaS product, and it gives you an option to build integrations, process automations, visual builder, and so on. And these three cloud services put together offered as a single unified cloud service called as OIC. And you can ignore the analytics part, guys. So that's exactly what OIC is all about. It is a killer PaaS product from Oracle. You can build integrations, VBCS, PCS applications, and they can talk to each other. Now we'll stop here for today. And before I start taking a Q&A, 2 or 3 important points I want to announce, guys. It's a first session that we are doing for your batch today. It's a 9 to 10:30 a.m. IST batch. Monday to Saturday, we do 1 hour training session. We do training session Monday to Saturday. Okay. And it will be like 9 to 10:30 a.m. IST Indian time. And it's like a 9 hours of training session per week. And batch goes on for 8 weeks. Okay. We roughly need around 65 to 70 hours of training course content. Only Sunday will be off. Every other day, we have 1.5 hour training session. And as part of the course, I would be, what exact use cases we cover as part of the course, I'll explain it in detail tomorrow. I'll be spending half an hour on that. And all the training sessions will happen over Zoom. We do record them. As you can see, I'm recording this session, and we would give you lifetime access to the session recordings. So just in case you have any meeting, emergency meeting, you can still go, you can attend the meeting. And after the session is done, I'll upload the recording to a drive, give you access to them. Whenever you get time later in the day, go through the recording and let us know if you have any questions in the next day session. And we would also be giving you access to the OIC instance, Fusion Cloud, SFTP server, Salesforce, and a database in cloud. We give you access to 5 infra services for 3 months from a batch start date, 2 months during the course and 1 month after it, so that you can practice whatever we cover in the training sessions. Okay. And at the end of the course, if you're looking for job change, we'll help you with a sample resume, list of interview questions. We'll conduct a mock interview and give you a personalized feedback. And and we would also let you know whenever we get requests from clients regarding the OIC job openings they have. I'm not sure how many of you checked our LinkedIn profile, but if you go in there, you would be able to see all the job openings that we share with our students. Okay, so if I can just open that, pull up that URL, give me a moment. So the LinkedIn profile, we have our students in there. And whenever we get new requests from any of our clients asking for trained resources, both for fresher as well as experienced profiles, we normally let the students know about all the job openings that we have got from our clients. So you see here yesterday, we have posted all the job openings related to OIC for various companies, and we've also given a link as well, and we've given the experience levels as well. So we give you best-in-class training. We make you job ready, interview ready, and we'll help you with a resume preparation. We'll share a sample profile, and we would be letting you know where the job openings are. It's just that you have to track them and apply for the ones that you need. And also, if anybody is interested in taking up a certification exam, I'll be talking about it at a later point. But whatever we cover as part of the integrations track, that alone is more than enough for you to easily clear the certification exam without any problem. And we would also be sharing a certification dumps as well, so that you can understand what sort of questions you can expect in the exam. Now, to avoid confusion, whoever has questions, please raise your hand. Don't unmute yourself and start asking the question. Just raise your hand. I'll call out your name, and only the person whom I call should speak. Ask the question, and after your question is answered, please go back on mute, and also ensure that you lower your hand, guys, only to avoid the confusion. Okay, Netrali, go on.
Yeah, so my question, sorry, my voice is not clear, but can we connect one on-prem application to another on-prem application using the OIC?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Sunny?
Yeah, my doubt is, can we connect Oracle EBS on-prem application with the Oracle Fusion application?
Yes.
And are we going to cover this within the course? I mean, is this a use case?
We would be covering we would do one integration use case wherein I'll show you how to integrate cloud with on-prem applications. In this use case, I'll show you how to integrate Fusion Cloud application with an on-prem database server. In that session, I'll show you what is connectivity agent, how do you download it, how do you install it in the on-prem system, how do you use it in the connection and use it in the integration. After we do this particular use case, You would be following the exact same approach when you have to talk to any custom application. It could be EBS, custom .NET or Java application, or it could be JD Edwards, doesn't matter.
Got
Okay.
it. And yeah, and when we got the instance access, I can do my practice and try connecting an Oracle EBS on-prem application with Oracle Fusion Cloud application, right? I mean, those
We don't
agents are
have
very
access. We don't have access to Oracle EBS application. And I
okay.
would be showing you how to install an agent on an EBS server. If you have
Mhm.
EBS server with you, after we do this use case, I'll show you how to install the agent on a machine where DB server is running. You can follow that approach and you can install the agent on your EBS application server where that application is running, and you can go ahead and try the use case.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Rishikesh?
Yeah, hi. So, do we have any specific hardware requirements or any to work on OIC?
All of them are cloud applications, and you just need there's no specific specifications required for a laptop, as long as it
Okay.
has a good configuration or decent configuration. And the only thing that you need is a browser. Everything that you do in OIC, you would be doing it within the browser itself, logging into OIC instance or Fusion Cloud, etc. Yes, we will be installing a couple of testing tools, like we will be installing SOAP UI, Postman, and we would also have to install SQL Developer to connect to a cloud databases. So yes, I mean, even if you have a laptop with a minimal configuration, it should be fine.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And Pawan?
Yeah, hi Prasad.
Hi.
I just have one question regarding this today's session. In the Salesforce, when you said like we have to create some flow, right? That will be handled by the source team, like Salesforce team,
Correct.
or we have to
Yes,
do
it
that.
will be. You will not even be given access to Salesforce application.
So that flow will be creating by
Everything,
Salesforce.
yeah, all the setup that I've shown you, right? So creating this flow, creating this outbound message, everything would be taken care by Salesforce technical team. All they need from you and me as an integration specialist is a URL of the instance of the integration. So our job is to build the integration. After we build it, we activate it. And once we activate it, there will be a URL generated if you have chosen application style, and that URL we throw to the Salesforce team, and they would be calling it here. So doing the required setups in Salesforce is none of our business. Even if you're interested, a client will not be giving you access to the Salesforce application.
Okay. And the same regarding reaching the like Fusion technical team, you mean to say we need to reach the functional resource like based on the module, supply
Yes,
chain, finance,
functional
or
plus technical.
okay.
Functional
Okay.
will only be able to give you a process flow, and technical will be able to help you with what services you need to call and so on. It's a combination of them that you need to talk to. And of course, obviously, if you're doing SCM use case, you talk to SCM functional, SCM technical. If it is a HCM use case, you talk to HCM functional, HCM technical. Okay.
And I just have one couple of more questions, like if you're okay, like by the end of this session, like how we can be like as a basic you're covering or intermediate, like how we can be on the OIC side, like getting to the knowledge of in detail about the OIC, like we can be handling the complex
I've
integration.
spent I've spent 20 years in OIC in integration space. I've spent 12 years in OIC, and whatever complex use cases that we get that I've done, or the common use cases that I get in the real-time projects, I will be covering those exact same use cases as part of the sessions. And tomorrow, I will be showing you a few integrations that we're going to create as part of the course. Okay, so tomorrow by this time, you would know, you would have seen at least few integrations that we build. And you understand that we're not going to just scratch the surface or cover the basics and say a course is done. Because if I have to do it that way, 25 hours would be enough. But I would be spending 70 hours of my time and your time as well. And we would be building all a complex integrations, possible use cases, inbound, outbound, web service based, file based, anything that Pawan might work in OIC. If he had probably done real-time projects in OIC for 3 years, doing 3 end-to-end implementation projects, whatever is the level of knowledge that Pawan would have got, working 3 years in OIC, he would have the same level of knowledge by the time he completes a training course, provided, and there's a big exclamation basically, Pawan attends each and every training session that I do for the next 2 months. I'm not just attending a session, watching it like a movie and moving on. He would also spend a 1.5 or 2 hours of his time, get into the instance, practice whatever Prasad is covering in a session. I'll do my 200% to take you to 100% confidence level. You would basically be mastering OIC. You would become an expert in it, provided you do everything that I teach in the sessions. Okay. And whatever you learn as part of the course, you can show it as at least 3 years of experience in real time.
Yeah, that's great, Prasad. So, I mean, that's my question. Like, I will be able to understand and as well as be able to handle complex integrations, right? Yeah, that's good. And just one small request, like this all part of components or whatever you said, like OIC, VBCS, and PCS, all does come under OCA, right? So, is there any PPT you have that you can show tomorrow to understand why this all came up? Of course, you started with OIC today, but I just want to understand where all these parts
When we
come
do,
under.
okay, don't
Yeah.
worry too much about it. First, see, this is 114th batch that I'm doing. Okay, so if something needs to be taught, I know exactly at what point in what session I need to teach a specific concept. Okay, and I'm not going to change the sequence of topics. So tomorrow we would be covering the integration design options that would make you comfortable with the design options here. And day after day 3 and day 4, we will be covering REST API and the SOAP service basics. Okay. And once you're comfortable with the web service basics, day 5, I will be taking you to OCI screen and I'll show you what is OCI, and I'll talk about how exactly you create OIC instance from OCI screen. How do you enable Visual Builder? How do you enable process automation? And how do you create users and grant them access to OIC instance? We will cover all the admin related stuff in our day 5 training session after you're comfortable with the web service basics.
Sounds good. Thanks, Prasad. Yeah.
Thank you. Pramod?
Hi, Prasad. Good morning. Prasad, I have 2 questions. So I just want to understand what all will be covered as part of Oracle HCM Cloud use cases.
Tomorrow by this time I'll explain it, because I'm going to give you a walkthrough of all the use cases. But to the brief answer, we cover everything that you need to know in HCM. We cover HCM extracts, we cover HDL automation, we cover HCM atom feeds. And the use cases have been designed in such a way that whatever use cases we do, right? So for example, when I do a complex complex SOAP service, I might use a finance use case. And when I do a complex REST API, I might use an SCM use case. But once you build these 2 integrations, understanding the use case and understanding how to build complex SOAP and REST APIs, all you have to do is just instead of calling a PO REST API, you call a worker REST API there. Okay. And everything that is specific to HCM, there are some core concepts which are specific to HCM, like HDL automation and HCM extracts, atom feeds. These are not something that is applicable for finance. Additional use cases that are required for HCM, yes, we do have separate use cases for them.
Okay. And one point you mentioned in the beginning of the training, right, that it is agnostic of platform, right? Basically, if somebody is using JD Edwards and Salesforce and using OIC as a platform, even though we are Oracle like technical consultants, we will be able to take care of the requirement, is what you mentioned. Is that the right understanding?
That's correct. That's correct. And it's just that you will be talking to that application relevant teams of that application and get the inputs, and you build the integration. See, we don't really care what is application A and what is application B that you have to integrate. To me, it is just 2 different applications. Okay, you would just be talking to those applications, application teams, and you would be building them accordingly.
Okay, and do we have instances where clients use OIC for when they don't even have Oracle product with them?
Not really, but it is possible, but not really. If you look at the industry usage, OIC, first of all, any client has to go live with Fusion Cloud, they need OIC. And there is no client who does a Fusion Cloud implementation with a SOVA or MuleSoft or Delboomi. Okay, unless there is there is some cost constraints on the client side, and maybe they just need very few integrations which they can achieve with other integration products at a lesser cost. 100 out of 100 clients would be using OIC, and OIC is typically used with a Fusion Cloud implementation.
Okay.
It is like what MuleSoft is to Salesforce, OIC is to Fusion Cloud projects.
Okay, it's very rare that people, I mean, like if a company is not using, like not implemented Oracle, they still go with OIC to communicate.
Yeah, very rare. But
Okay.
you have plenty of customers where you have enough jobs.
Okay, got it.
Kumar?
Hi, Prasad, Javed here. I have a question
Yeah, I'll
regarding
call
to
out. I'll come to you in a moment, Javad. Please hang on.
Sure.
Kumar?
Sure.
Yeah, hi Prasad. Have you
Please
used
go.
any BAP something, business intelligence, fall into OIC something?
Yeah, we would see when we do the outbound flow integrations, you need to understand how to use a BI reports to do a bulk extraction of data from Fusion Cloud and send it to downstream systems. I'll be giving you a walkthrough of it tomorrow. But yes, this is one of the very important use cases. Okay.
And one more thing, have you covered any basic knowledge of Fusion, AP and AR, some SIM flow, something
We
like
don't see for every use case that we are going to build, right?
Yeah.
For every use case, there is a context that you need to know in Fusion Cloud. So, for example, when we do a journal input, SOAP service or purchase order REST API, I cannot just build an integration without you knowing what is a journal or what is a purchase order or how do you import it manually first. Right, and similarly for FPDA also, we cannot just go ahead and get started with the integration build without you knowing what is FPDA or how does it work in Fusion Cloud. So what we do is for every use case, I make sure that I take you to Fusion Cloud, show you what that process is. Like say, for example, if it is FPDA, I'll show you what is FPDA, how does it work in Fusion Cloud. Then we'll come back and build an integration to automate it. We repeat the same thing for every use case as well. So whatever context that you need to know in Fusion Cloud, I'll be providing that context first, and then we will be building the integration as part of the course. Okay. And a few tech skills of Fusion Cloud would also be covered as part of the course itself. To an extent that you need to know as an integration specialist, like we cover FPDA, we cover HDL, we cover HCM extracts, we cover BI reports, and so on. Okay.
And have you using any FTP related?
Yes, we will use.
Yes. Data.
Tomorrow, by this time, you will have a fair idea of what exact use cases we cover. Wait until tomorrow. Arijit?
Yeah. Most of things we go for the complexity. There are basic and basics of the complexity. Real time, most of them only complexity.
But there is no basic stuff here. Yeah, only complex stuff. Arijit?
Yeah. Okay. One question. Would we be getting separate credentials or the ones that are shared? So we'll create our projects with our names.
We will. You will be getting us some shared credentials, but vendor would be tracking IPs in the background, and we would exactly know with what IP address Arijit is logging into OIC instance to ensure that the login credentials are not shared or used unethically. And with the credentials that we share with you, you would be allowed to log in from only one IP. And once you log in, we capture that, and you would be creating your own project, and you would put in your components there. Okay. Yes, Vijay?
Yeah, the following question is like I travel and I use different internet connections. So that we need to inform you earlier, like if you're tracking based on IP and there's a possibility that you could block.
Yeah, well, we can talk about it in detail. Call me on this number. We'll have a separate discussion. Okay. Lakshmi?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, that's not my question actually. This is just the following question, like the earlier question. Yeah.
Okay.
So there is a concept like see, in Fusion we do not have access to the do anything on the data massaging, right? So there's a concept called ATP database, and we bring all the real-time data of the Fusion to that using some BICC connect, and we can do the data massaging, and we can
cover all of that when we do the FPDA automation. Yeah.
Okay, we're doing FPDA automation.
Yeah.
Also,
when we do
one more. Okay, we are going to cover that, right? Like BICC connector, putting everything into the ATP database.
When we do FPDA automation, I'll show you how to pick up the files received from a data source in FTP. Very often you don't get them in a format that you need. And we will see the usage of ATP. I'll show you how to dump the data from Fusion Cloud or whatever data that you get from the files. We will see how to dump it to our tables, run the procedures, do the bulk transformation or validation, pull the validated data, generate the files in a required format, send it to cloud. We cover all of that in detail. And yes, as you rightly pointed out, for some use cases, you might also need the data from Fusion Cloud and load it into the ATP tables. How do we do it with the help of BI reports? I'll show it to you. I'll explain it. And a BICC is another option that you can also use to get that required information. But we do discuss that in great detail in FPDA automation service. In fact, we spent 6 hours on this particular topic, and it is one of the key integration pattern.
Oh, okay. And one more thing, with respect to VBCS, are we going to cover with the Redwood features like
everything in Redwood,
editing the page and
everything in Redwood? And tomorrow I will be showing you all the applications that we're going to create using Redwood. And by this time, you know what exact pages we build using what templates. All Redwood.
Oh, okay. And also with 26 with 26B, Oracle is releasing this fusion agents, right? Agentics agents. Are we doing anything on that side?
No,
like
we
how
don't do
these
anything
were
on
built
it.
or okay. On OIC, is there any assistance from AI that we are going to cover?
We in some places in OIC, Oracle started incorporating AI related features.
Yes.
Like say, for example, even if you build an integration, it is asking you to give a prompt there, and based on the prompt that you give, it is trying to generate a skeleton for integration. So wherever you and when you schedule an integration, it asks you to write a simple English statement, and it generates a schedule automatically. So wherever you have such AI features incorporated by Oracle, we will be covering that when we do those particular topics.
Okay. So one final question, like when we read about these agents that Oracle has provided and or implementing in 26B, those were actually created using the pass flow and also the integrations. Is there a scope that you can at least give an overview, like how this was done or how this can be achieved?
We give you access to the instance. You can read more about it and you can try some hands, but we won't be able to accommodate in the course.
Oh.
Okay. Lakshmi?
Thank you.
Nagaraj?
Hey, Prasad, thank you.
Yeah, please go on. Yes, Nagaraj, sorry. Go on. Do you have any question?
Sorry, I was on mute. I'm audible now?
Yes, very well. Please go on.
Yeah, so in the initial YPT or initial explanation, you said it requires zero coding. So
correct.
Can you please help me understand it doesn't need any developer skills to get familiar with OIC, is my understanding correct?
That's correct. Absolutely correct.
Someone with 15 to 17 years of functional role into ERP different applications is good enough to learn this course and complete.
That's correct. Yes. And yes, if you, in some use cases that you do, right? Say, for example, we spoke about FPGA automation here. In some use cases, when you do those integration scenarios, if you have to say, for example, I need to call a procedure here. I'm not going to sit down and write that 15,000 line procedure. There would be PL SQL developer in a project or Fusion technical consultant. We tell them what the requirement is. They create a procedure for you, and you would just be calling it in your integration. So we don't need to do any coding. We would just be building the required integrations. So the same development approach would apply for VBCS and PCS also. Because the moment we say web application build, some students ask me, do I need HTML, do I need JavaScript, and so on. But yes, if you know a little bit of JavaScript, it's okay. But even in VBCS, PCS also, you do a declarative development. You drag and drop the components and you build it. Tomorrow, I'll give you a walkthrough anyways. Okay. So, but yes, freshers are learning it without any difficulty and moving on. Having spent 15 to 17 years in a functional role, It puts you in a much better position than they are in terms of understanding the use cases, building it, or absorbing the content.
Yeah, market is pretty much at mixed version now, so it doesn't work. So in the market, they are asking for OIC.
Okay, yeah, that should not be a problem at all. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Sunny?
Yeah, hi Prasad. So my question is related to migration. So once we are done with creating the integrations, do we also cover the migrations from dev to test or test to prod?
Yes, we have a separate training session scheduled for it after we complete the integrations. We do a full-length dedicated session, not talking about, but showing you how exactly you deploy the integrations from one instance to another instance. Okay, how do you deploy them? How do you deploy it through package archives, integration archives projects? How do you version them? How do you clone them? We cover all of that because that is an important aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Lakshmi, can you hear me?
Hi, Prasad. I'm Lakshmi.
Yeah, please go on.
Are you covered VBCS with AI agents?
We cover VBCS using Redwood framework, latest Redwood templates, which is what every employer is looking for. We don't do anything related to AI agents.
So not covered AI agents, Prasad?
No, we don't cover it.
Okay.
Okay.
And completely, I'm new to this course. I'm not aware of this.
It's absolutely fine. No problem.
My background is QA testing engineer.
Yeah. Even if you don't have any prior integration exposure or OIC exposure,
due
it is
to mood
absolutely
UAE,
fine.
I'm learning UAE now.
Okay, that is absolutely fine. You can easily learn it. No worries at all.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Virus. Not sure who has logged in with that virus found name. Can you please go on and ask your question?
Hey, Prasad, my name is Varun, and my question is like, do we need to know any prerequisites to know before starting this course?
No, you don't have to. I'll be covering even the web service basics also as part of the training sessions itself.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to learn anything. Thank you. Sudarshan?
Hi, Prasad. Good morning.
Good morning. Please go on.
You are having more years of experience into OIC, so you are aware of that. How in-depth AI is going to incorporating the concepts into OIC?
See, AI cannot replace integration specialists. Very simple answer. Because if there is where do you see a scope for automation? So, for example, if you're doing an administration stuff, or if you're doing any program developments like Python or any other thing, which are controlled strictly by rules or syntaxes or by scripting, those are all the things that are impacted by AI. See, AI cannot understand the custom source target applications. AI cannot come up with the mappings. AI cannot talk to the customer, understand the requirement mappings and all that. So AI doesn't replace it. It only complements it. And it's worth your time moving into integrations at this point in time. Okay. Yeah. Manohar?
Do you have any comment about layoffs on Oracle yesterday, Prasad?
Oracle, yes, I did. I got 4 calls yesterday, between 3 to 6. Yes, or yeah. There has been layoffs on the administration side. There are quite a few layoffs from OCI and other admin related roles. But there is zero. No, as far as I know, there are no layoffs from a consulting or from a integration teams as such. But yes, it is. Oracle has been doing it, not just in India, across locations. Yeah, they have their own strategy.
Are they planning any future coming up for doing this?
For integrations, you don't have to really worry about the layoffs. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Manohar?
Hi, Prasad.
Hi.
Good morning.
Very
So I
good
just
morning.
want to know about this VBCS prerequisites if we want to learn something.
VBCS prerequisites. See, if you know a little bit of JavaScript, or if you're completely new to it, just learn the basics if possible. But that is also not required. But the point is, when you start building very complex VBCS applications, right? Sometimes you might have to play around with a JavaScript code, but that would be like 1 in 100 cases. Yes, if you have time and if you have the technical bent of mind, go ahead and try to explore a JavaScript a little bit. But other than that, you don't need to do it because you have these AA tools everywhere, right? So any code that you need, it should not take more than a couple of minutes for you to get that particular to get the required inputs. So it should be fairly simple and straightforward.
Yes, sure, Prasad. Thank you. And I have joined this course in 2024, but due to some reasons, I couldn't complete it. So I just had to rejoin again.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, thank you. Usha?
Thank you, Prasad.
Thank you. Usha, Koyela, Rajesh, can you please go on?
Yeah, hi Prasad.
Hi.
Actually, I have around 12 years of experience into product support and technical support. So, with having this much of experience, is it okay to learn this course and switching? Is there any risk in switching with this much of experience?
See, first of all, yes, definitely the moment you cross 10 plus years, right?
Yes.
The number of job openings get very limited. Okay, point number one. Point number two, for OIC, with the kind of demand that you have in the market for OIC developers with VBCS Redwood skill, experience is not a concern at all. So in fact, whatever, usually when we do the training batches, right, the average experience level of the students ranges from 2 years to 20 years. So 12 years, you are definitely not on the higher side. We've seen cases with 20 years, 18 years, 25 years of experience. All you need to do is, in your case, after you do the course, replace whatever you're doing at the moment. You put that experience as first 8 years of your experience. Last 4 years, you replace it and show it as experience in OIC. Assuming that you attend all the sessions, practice it and master it. And then you transition into OIC developer role. Is there any risk? Absolutely zero risk. If you attend all the sessions and practice what I cover in them, you can easily clear the interviews and deliver on the job from day one, working independently, confidently as an OIC developer without relying on anybody.
Okay. Do you have any success stories converting this experienced people into OIC
Every
developers?
student, see, we deal with, we run 4 batches in parallel for OIC. And every batch we have around 50, 60 students. It's impossible, virtually impossible to track each and every student, see what was their past experience and what has been the new experience, new role, and so on. But one thing that we can say is, depending on the individual's capability, students were able to switch into OIC developer roles between 2 to 4 weeks after completion of the course. If you're really good, you might get into an OIC role in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks after the course is done. But if you are slow with a practice, or if you are slow in understanding the concepts, it might take you 2 or 3 more weeks. But yeah, it's only a matter of time, but you should be able to easily move into transition into OIC role. And what we do is to help you with that transition, we'll help you with the resume preparation. We'll conduct a mock interview. We'll tell you how exactly you need to put your profile on what is the exact story that you need to tell in the interview. Because you need to know how to speak like an OIC developer, right? That is the biggest concern.
Yes,
so that is exactly what we will be training you on, right? So the knowledge you get in the sessions, and when I do the mock interview, I'll tell you how exactly you have to speak like an integration specialist. Okay?
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Surya?
Hey, hi Prashad, this is Surya here. Hi. So this is regarding the AI things, but not a question. Like as you know that we are entering into AI world, like Oracle also starting to do that. So from our organization, so we have started to explore the AI agents. Will there any like even Oracle announced recently they announced the Microsoft Team integrations also like a couple of days back. So we are exploring those things. In case if you are stuck somewhere that reads OIC help, will you be able to help if you brought the scenario?
See, the point is, to be frank, I didn't explore AI agents yet. Okay, so because of the schedule that I have, but that is something that I have in the pipeline for the next few weeks. But yes, if you have a question, if you're trying to do some integration, do let me know. If I know something that can help you resolve that issue, I would be more than happy to help or assist.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, Prasad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow, same time, same Zoom link, guys. And yes, if you are yet to make a fee payment or if you are yet to enroll it, do send us a message on this particular number and team will let you know the enrollment process. Okay. Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks.